So there's a question that has come up before of why don't you just put a video in ChatGPT? And the people who actually ask me that have done something like that before, they've put a video in ChatGPT and it's given them something. I'm going to explain why in a second, but before I do so, I wanna help you visualize a bit of what is happening in the background. Basically, one and you play around with it so you kind of like get the point. But once you have a video, you'd upload it, and what happens in the background is that we would detect all the serves within that video. If it's a match, you'd have fewer serves across the same amount of time. If it's a serve drill, you probably have quite a number of serves even within a 1 minute period. So we extract all those. We use heuristics to figure out what are the serve windows. But before that, we do ball detection and pose detection for the main player who is serving. And then afterwards, we then figure out what are the faces within a serve. So a serve would have, depending on who you talk to, could have up to 8 faces. We decided to use four, especially because we don't expect everyone to be very technical and do the right technique. So we have like four general faces. It's basically the setup and the toss, the trophy, the kind of like, I don't like to use this term, but because other people use it, I decided to keep it the trophy position. It's kind of like when you have both of your arms raised after you've had the ball tossed, then you're ready to get your racket drop, and then accelerate into the ball. That's kind of like the trophy and load phase. Then you have acceleration where you're basically whipping your wrist to get your racket to get power into the ball, and then you follow through, right? Which is basically how you finalize, and then safely come back and get ready to to react to the return if there's going to be one. So this is basically what the setup looks like on a very high level. Um, why is it that we can't just apply AI to this part, right? So why can't we just apply AI to the serve the serve video itself? The way I've been thinking about it, not just for this project, for other projects, is that you would need very good data as a starting base if you want to apply AI to anything. Like your very first version would be just upload something into a chat AI chat tool to get some information, but one is going to be expensive. It's not going to be consistent. You will not be able to have metrics to be able to compare over time. There are so many things that you'll not be able to do. So for now, what I've done so far is done level 1 to 3, right? So that raw input perception, which is basically our computer vision models, will figure out pose estimation and ball detection, and then we then have structured data. So things like joint angles, knee flexion, elbow angular contact. Those things are the structured data we are calculating, and that is actually being saved and persisted. And then we have some level of like interpretation. So this is where the face segmentation comes in. We have more derived metrics beyond the initial elbow angles and stuff like that. So this is still being worked on. The reason why I'm focusing on all these layers before even starting with a coaching agent, because I'm trialing some stuff there, is that you actually need that substrate to work to be able to have an AI agent work on that. Whether you're having simple LLM calls to be able to get feedback, or actually have agents to be able to then figure out, oh, you uploaded a video today, we've analyzed it, and maybe there are some things that we want you to focus on. It figures out when your next tennis session is, via calendar API, whatever it is, and then gives you a report, all that stuff. You want to do it on good data that you've developed, and it's persistent. So, in spending the last couple of weeks really honing this down before you can do that. I'm gonna have a different video where we go a bit more into some of the experiments we've been doing there. And then what basically is going to happen is that each of these parts, mostly the structured data and interpretation, because we're never going to read the actual pose detection itself, right? That's not necessary. This is the reason why we have these layers, is that we're going to communicate to this structured data via two calls. So we're going to develop these tools to be able to then figure out what's the session history, what is the player metrics over time. We'll have another tool that will be able to then extract and get the I mean, we technically already have the tool, but we're going to have another tool that would extract and get the frames where you have your trophy position, or have the detect the frames where your ball toss was the highest. And to kind of like give you an insight into how this has been done, not the AI, the LLM step, but how some of this has been done, is that we are now able to, for any video, we can kind of like compare. Right now it's only the trophy position, but we can compare what the trophy positions look like. This is just a function that would be wrapped as a tool for our LLM to be able to connect to. So if you're trying to give feedback, or you're asking a question, what has my serves look like over a certain period, it can do that. It can also do it over time. So if you look at the library, for example, the analysis page which we're working through, it's figured out my trophy positions over time, and not just within one video, right? So that's another tool call that you want to have, and that's just extracting the frames. So these are things that, coming back to the intelligence layer model that I was talking about, these are things that you want to develop before then you can start to connect to it.